It should come to no surprise that I have accepted at this point that the NASCAR that I fell in love with as a child and the one that I had known for many years is now gone and will never come back. It is dead and it should remain dead in my heart, just like the rest of me, which is also dead. But that doesn't stop me from continuing to care, to continuing to believe, despite the fact that I should not have optimism anymore, despite the fact that optimism died in the 2020 Truck Series finale. No, but lay, yet at the same time, I still care, even though I shouldn't. And this is, if anything, a final plea. If NASCAR has never listened to anything that I have said at any point in my life, let this be the thing that they listen to. Do not shorten the races. I should leave it at that, but I am sure that the Twitter generation will want me to expand on this point. So, here we go. You see, the thing is, ever since the introduction of stage racing, I really have not considered the first half of the race to even be relevant to anything, unless someone wrecks and they're out of the race. Literally nothing that happens during the first half matters. The real race begins after the final stage caution, at least until David Hoots gets bored and he decides to throw another caution for a piece of paper that's out of the racing line, obviously. Yeah. That was some good times right there. Some real good times. But the reason is not because I don't appreciate there being arbitrary points in time where strategy is completely thrown out the window and we have to invent new means of strategy. Do you remember all those Pocono races at the start of stage racing where everyone was like, oh man, there's so many different strategies going on right now, despite the fact that no matter what anyone did on pit road, the running order would still be the same at the end of every stage break and literally nothing would change. You know, that was my favorite part. But what stage racing has done to organic race-long battles has been indescribable. Indescribable, the impact that this has had. If anything, it's probably a bigger impact than any package, any generation of car, any 2018 package, 2019 package, 2021 packages, 2022 new cars. If anything, stage racing has probably had the biggest impact on anything. Because I still look to the 2016 Atlanta race as the last good the last good NASCAR race. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, dude. It's so annoying. Annoying is a great word to describe it. The reason that long organic runs are needed for these cars is because you see it. You see it. I watched all of Richmond because I have no self-control. And Richmond is potentially the best example of modern racing. If this new car supposedly cannot do short tracks, then Richmond is the best thing that we're going to get. Because that race had real strategy. It had actual meaningful strategy. It wasn't, oh, is this guy gonna pit 2 laps before someone else during the stage? No, it was like 3 stops versus 4 stops or something like that. And I know that me watching that Richmond race, I had no idea who was going to win until about 30 laps to go when I said, oh, Truex has this. And then Hamlin won, out of absolutely nowhere. And this ties into today's point of do not shorten races. Because I don't remember when Truex won Martinsville last, but that race, had that race been 400 laps like this past Sunday's, Truex would have not won that race. Okay, and I'm not just saying that as a fan of Truex. Races organically playing out over a long period of time. NASCAR has never been about sprints. It's never been about short feature races. It has never been about that in its 80-year existence until all of a sudden now, when every single race needs a green-white checkered because just, simply paying attention for more than a 30-lap span is way too much to ask for out of the internet generation, apparently. And I get it. And I get it. The non-internet generation will die out eventually. But the demographic that they're chasing after just doesn't care. They don't care about racing. But there is a demographic that cares about racing. It's the children of the people who cared about racing. There's not a lot. There's not many. But we exist, okay? People, they do exist. People who care about, who appreciate when races go green for more than 10 laps at a time. There is a demographic that exists. It's just not big. But you see, the thing is, the demographic that you're chasing after, far and beyond, does not care. They don't care. Okay? So you may be chasing after a much larger demographic, but the section of that demographic that's going to pay attention is minuscule compared to the already existing demographic that did care, that continues to care, that wishes that they didn't care anymore, but cares way too fucking much, so they're still paying attention. They still exist. Okay? But you're chasing after the wrong demographic. It may look larger, but they don't care. They don't care. They do not care. Okay? Do not shorten the races. Who's to say if the Martinsville race was not longer, then Austin Dillon would have had a chance to win that? Wouldn't that have been insane? Wouldn't that have been insane if he had been able to drive up through the entire field and just win a race on pace? But no! There wasn't a single solitary on-track pass for the lead at Martinsville. None. And people will point towards the package being garbage for that. But didn't Austin Dillon start 20th? One car on the track could pass. That's more than they could say in 2018. I don't know, dude. The more that they shorten the races, the shorter these final runs are going to be. And especially, apparently, at short tracks where the long runs matter, as demonstrated by Richmond, as demonstrated by Martinsville, they're just going to continue to shorten the races because the middle section is too fucking boring. The middle section is the most important part of the race. It's the most important part of the race where everything is determined. The ending is determined by the middle. Except for when David Hoots wants a caution with 2 to go, then the middle literally doesn't matter. The only time that the middle doesn't matter is when there's these garbage 2 to go restarts at a track like Phoenix where you can go 8 wide into the first corner and then the entire field explodes and then 17th place wins, because I guess that's what people care about now. I guess that's what people's attention spans will take now. I can't believe that I have to explain the basics, the very fucking basics of this series that has been existing for 80 years. That I have to go okay, and did you know that the middle part of the race used to matter, and now it doesn't because there's arbitrary cautions every 10 laps? I shouldn't have to do this, but here I am. 20 years, 21-ish years after starting this terrible fandom. And the loudest voices on Twitter are always the ones that are going to get this. So when I saw that Hailie Deegan wants shorter races, we're getting shorter races. And everyone's saying that, races should never be 500 miles unless they're a crown jewel. Okay, so you've basically admitted that all you watch is TikTok 10-second clips and your attention span is shorter than that of a goldfish. Congratulations, you have admitted to the world that you do not care for actual organic race-long battles. All you care about are the green-white checkered 2 laps to go wreckfest finishes at Talladega And that is the standard by which every single race should be set. Congratulations, you have admitted to the world that you have absolutely nothing of value to share with us. I'm going to finish my Slim Fast vanilla shake, which is actually surprisingly good, and I'm going to hang my head in shame that I ever cared about this racing series to begin with in my life. Sure, this tastes like pancake batter, but hey, it's not the worst thing I've ever drank. Thanks for watching. I'm sure people are going to be mad that I talked about NASCAR again.